There
What are
weren't a
you
lot of
gonna
lesbian people.
do? Are you gonna like drive somewhere?
I don't know. Like, I just wanted like a quick experience so I can have confidence and to date women in my own town.
But catfish.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So pretty much, it started when I was like maybe how old was I? I was think it was like 16. So I had to be like around 16, going on 17. And I just know it was like around that time because that's when I worked for SeaWorld.
Okay.
And or they like
Okay.
to call it, or people like to call it, slave world. That's what
Oh.
we call it. So yeah, like I was like, again, that was like when I was first coming out, when I first realized that girls can be with girls. Yeah, girls can be with girls, you don't have to be a boy, whatever.
So you were
So
gay and you were out.
I was out to myself, like, I don't know, I just,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I think the people that I hung around with were like older, and they were like older gay people. They're like older gay people. So it
Yeah.
was just like, they're already out, and I'm just like, being a gay has been established, like, in, I guess, social media, but I wasn't big on social media and shit like that. So I came out and I was just like, okay, whatever.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, who the fuck am I gonna date? I always work, literally, because it's like the summer. I'm always working. I'm always at work, and the people at work I didn't think were attractive. So and I'm just like, I don't want to date anyone from my high school because I don't know any gay people from my high school.
Mm.
Like back then, like Texas was just like what you think of what Texas. It's just a big wide open space. Now it's all metropolitan, da da da.
Right.
So there wasn't a lot of gay people or anyone nearby in downtown. Like the bars, I have to be 18, fucking 21 to go in. But I could be 18 at that one bar called the Same, but it closed down. So yeah, like, so I did the only thing that I fucking still do now, or did, was I downloaded a fucking dating app. And it wasn't even a dating app. It was like websites where you have to go,
Oh,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah. Back in before Tinder and all
yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was just like, okay, so the basic one was okay Cupid. And I remember I fucking spent hours filling out that survey because I thought it actually really mattered.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
probably answered like fucking 500 questions that they have. And so I was just like, okay, I don't really like this one, so I downloaded something called Zeus, and Zoosk. It still does exist,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I posted like a couple pictures. I probably, those pictures that I sent you of like me with my long hair. I think I took those for the apps.
Bruh, I'm
Yeah.
about to put them on the screen when I do this video.
I put those, like, I put those pictures on the app, so it's so crazy.
Okay.
I totally forgot about it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so I'm on there and I'm looking for people, and I noticed one thing is that there were like a lot of older people. There wasn't like me, again, I was 16, 17, and the
That's true.
people on there
Everybody
were like,
older than you. You what you mean
yeah,
older?
everyone, yeah, exactly. No one was like around my age, like 18.
Right.
Like people were like 21 and up, and back then I consider that older. Like, fuck, I'm 25 now. But so yeah, like I was like intimidated, and I'm just like, I don't know what. I didn't want anyone from Texas for some reason. I think I had it set to like it will search for any lesbians anywhere, and there
What are
weren't a
you
lot of
gonna
lesbian people.
do? Are you gonna like drive somewhere?
I don't know. Like, I just wanted like a quick experience so I can have confidence and to date women in my own town. And plus,
Okay.
I didn't know
Okay.
any fucking gay people or lesbians, so I didn't
Right.
fucking
Right.
know. And
Right.
back then, I didn't
This
even
is
watch
this.
the L word. If
This
I
was
watched
just
the
your
L
baby
word,
night. This is your baby
yeah,
night strategy.
yeah, yeah. If I watched the L word, because the L word was around back then, I would have knew what the fuck to do. So, but I didn't. I didn't have any examples. So I messaged some girls, and I remember I would do live streams because they had that on there. It was like you can record yourself and put it to like the community. It was fucking weird. And so I see this girl. Her name is Marisara, and she said you have to say it with the accent. And she was just like, she was, she firsthand, she was like, she looked okay. So I'm just like, all right, whatever, not my fucking dream girl, but again, I can't really fucking say because I don't have experience and I don't know who I can get. So,
You're just taking whatever, huh? You're like,
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. I mean, hell. So, like, we were talking, and then like I remember I would look at her pictures every day, and I was just like, I felt like I was robbing myself of something, but that's how I felt. Like, I didn't feel like, damn, this girl is gonna set my world on fire, but I really want to give this a try because I want to see if I'm gay. I
yeah, maybe
wasn't,
it was just like an internet love, and you just needed
yeah.
to see her in person to feel the passion.
So I would like talk to her like every day, different things like that. And eventually she never truly asked me to be her girlfriend, but she told me that she fell in love with me within 2 weeks. And then I really didn't know her age or anything like that because I don't think she had it displayed or some shit. And she
You
was
didn't
just
ask her?
like,
You didn't
I did.
A/S/F?
I did. ASL. I remember some girl told me that shit on the river. I was like, ASL, you mean sign language? She was like, no, age, sex, location. And I'm like, oh, whatever. That was a missed opportunity, right? That's what that was. So, so yeah, like, where was I at? So, I asked her how old she was, and she was like 25. And I'm just like, okay, like, I'm 17. I knew in my head it was wrong, but it was just like, again, maybe this person has more experience. Maybe they can teach me things. I don't know, because up until that point, I was having sex with men. so,
Okay.
so she told me she loved me, and I was like, I love you too. Like, I don't know, and I just went
After
with it.
2 weeks?
Yeah. And she was just like, again, talking to me every day. And it was getting, the summer was coming to a close almost, and she was just like, oh, like, hey, I want to meet up before I start college or something. And I'm just like, okay. And she was just like, I live with my parents, so I'm like, okay, so how am I gonna do this? Plus my parents won't let me go. Like, I can't think of a lie to
Right.
go,
Right.
and so I was fucking underage. So I had my own car or whatever, so I'm like, I guess I can get a hotel. So I'm like, yeah, I can get a hotel and you can come down here. And she was like, okay, cool, like, but I don't have a job right now to buy my ticket. And
25. You said she knew you were 17?
yeah, yeah.
And she didn't have no job, living at her parents' house, and
Hmm.
it was about to meet you at a hotel.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm just like, I'm like, okay, and she was like, I don't really have a job. And I'm just like, think about it now. I'm like, you're 25 years old without a job. Like, what the fuck? So, anyways, she was like, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll buy your ticket. So I remember, like, I saved up, and I had, like, again, I worked at SeaWorld, and the way SeaWorld works is not open all the time. They don't always have hours. So you work in seasons. So it's a seasonal job. So pretty much I would save all my money up and then have that so I can use throughout the school year to like buy clothes and different things like that.
Yeah.
So like, again, I told you that, remember that summer was coming to an end, so I had a lot of money. So I'm just like, okay, like, I'll buy it. So my dad looked at my like card statements, and so I didn't want him to see the charge. So I remember I drove to Walmart and I got like, those fucking like Visa cards, and I got like two $500 ones. And then I buy the hotel, and then I buy her ticket.
Okay.
So she was like, okay. So she was just like, all right, like, again, it was like close to $1,000 for everything, just right there. And so I'm just like, all right, like, I think it was like she was coming in like 2 weeks. So pretty much I said, okay, so I made up this bullshit excuse, like why I had to miss work because you can't really call out during the summer. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. This is the only
So
season to work.
yeah,
Like, be
like
here.
why are you gonna, yeah, you'll like instantly get fired almost.
Mhm.
So I told so anyway, so like the time came for her to come, and like I made this bullshit excuse, and I told my parents like I'm going to these army camp or some shit. Like I just made up a lie.
Nice.
And so she was just like, she was like, all right, I'm excited to go. I'm like, okay, whatever. So
Get over here, suck this dick, bitch.
so, you know, when she was like, okay, I'm leaving, I wasn't excited throughout this whole thing. I wasn't excited, you know, and I'm just like, okay, like, you know, like, whatever. So
Were you thinking you just weren't excited because you hadn't been with a woman yet, or did you know?
I didn't know
What
what
did
to
you think?
expect. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And plus, I didn't really think she was attractive. You know, like I just didn't think like it was just honestly more like an experiment to me. Like I wanted to see what this was like.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't know if I really love this person, but I talk to them every day. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I can't remember my thought process back then.
You just knew you weren't pumped about it, but you were like,
Yeah.
I still need to do this experiment.
Yeah, and plus I already invested time, energy, and I invested my own money into it.
Can't turn back now.
Yeah, and plus, you know, I did kind of like her, I guess. You know, I think she had really cool personality. Mm-hmm. So on the way to the airport, you know, I'm just like really nervous, and you know, she texted me. She was like, "Oh, you know, we just landed," and I'm like, "Okay." So I parked my car, and then I go into like the departure, and I like hide around the corner, and so I'm just like, I don't know what told me to do that, but I just did it. So
Good.
so she was coming down the you know, the little escalator, and she was like, okay, I'm coming down the escalator. She was like, do you see me? And she was like, I'm in like, you know, a red shirt or something like that. And I'm like, I mean, I see someone in a red shirt, but that couldn't be her. You know, she described herself as being like 6'1", a rugby player, nice body. You know, like, you know, that can't be her. And so she was just like, you know, I'm like, I don't see you.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, I'm waving in my arms. And I'm just like, okay, that same person's waving her arms. You know, maybe that's my hair. And I'm like, okay, well, I was like, yell out my name or something like that. And sure enough, it was that fucking person. So, like, literally, my body is like, it fucking. I was so pissed. Like the fucking fire ran through me, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, what is this? You know, fucking mixed between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shrek and Fiona, like all three of them. And so
fucking ugly ass gumbo. What the fuck?
She did not, and what made it bad, her face was okay looking. Well, again, I wasn't attracted to her, but you know, I just thought she was okay. And it was like, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close to that. And so, damn, I was like, is Facetune a thing back then? Was a startup back then? And she was like the first, you know.
She was the fucking beta test.